Broadcasting live from Dar es Salaam, this is TBC News, our top stories. Prime Minister demands timely completion and value for money in projects. Causes and possible interventions are explored. Good evening. I am Terry Mparanyanga. You can also follow us live via YouTube channel TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. Prime Minister Dr. Mwigulu Nchemba directs contractors and managers of development projects in the country to ensure that projects are completed on time and meet the required quality standards to ensure benefits for the citizens. Here are more details.
Dr. Mwigulu issued the directive earlier today while laying the foundation stone for the 28 towns water project in Mpanda municipality, Katavi region, as part of his work visit to the region. He insists the government has allocated a significant budget in the development projects, instructing contractors and managers to work diligently to ensure that infrastructure projects are completed right on time.
These are my clear instructions. Let us ensure that this project is implemented on time and with the required quality so that citizens can finally access reliable water services. I would also like to commend our young people who are working closely with our engineers on the construction of this project. I encourage you, if possible, to continue working even into the night so that the Wananchi can receive this project within the planned time frame.
The 22.8 billion Tanzanian shillings 28 towns water project in Mpanda municipality, Katavi region, which has reached 55% of implementation, aims to achieve near total water access, enhancing service to 100% upon completion. On the other hand, the Deputy Minister for Water, Engineer Matthew Kundo, says that the project, upon completion, will have the capacity to produce approximately 12 million liters of water per day, which will enhance access to clean and safe water service for the locals and neighboring areas.
Mradi wa miji 28 unagonga kwenye trilioni 1.7.
This 28 towns water project is valued at 1.7 trillion shillings, covering all the 28 towns, and it will represent a major transformation in the water sector. Once completed, the project is expected to provide clean and safe water to more than 6 million residents. It will also increase the capacity in our national water supply grid by about 8%. As for the project here in Mpanda, implementation has currently reached 55.25%, while water accessibility in the area stands at 68%.
The Deputy Minister for Water, Engineer Matthew Kundo, says that the implementation of the project in the country, including the Mpanda municipality, is a sign of major revolution in the water sector. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
Tanzania and Uganda have signed a memorandum of understanding for the construction of a standard railway gauge, SCR, from Isaka, Morongo, Kikagati to Mpondwe in Uganda to facilitate transportation between the two countries. Speaking in Dar es Salaam during the closing remarks of the 5th meeting of the Joint Commission between Tanzania and Uganda, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Ambassador Mahmoud Thabit Kombo, says the project is important.
We are as one unit. This session has served as a very powerful reaffirmation of our very strong bonds on blood, on brotherhood and sisterhood, and friendship of cooperation that have long existed between our two countries. For 3 consecutive days, we have engaged in candid, constructive, and forward-looking discussions on a whole wide range of issues of mutual interest. We have renewed our commitment today and agreed on the future, our future together. To strengthen our cooperation, we have also signed the agreement. We have thoroughly reviewed also our past areas and tried to find solution for the hard problems. In this regard, I'm pleased to note that during this session, our two countries agreed to deepen further cooperation in the fields of all political and diplomatic consultations, but defense, security, infrastructure development, energy, trade, industries, agriculture, livestock, fisheries, as well as health sector.
On his part, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs in charge of regional affairs of Uganda, John Mulimba, says the project will strengthen bilateral relations between Tanzania and Uganda.
Customs Union and the Common Market Protocol, because we have been having a few issues still outstanding. But by directive of our two presidents, we have also agreed to remove all the outstanding technical, non-tariff and trade barriers that exist between our states to further trade between our two peoples of Uganda and the Republic of Tanzania. We have also talked about the major issue which was seemingly disturbing, that is the ECOP pipeline, which comes from Hoima all the way to Tanga. The issues which were seemingly outstanding of land. There was a proposal to do a joint certificate of interest. That was simply perceived. We have agreed in this meeting that the ECOP project must proceed, and the two countries should go ahead and issue land titles as is.
The Joint Commission for Cooperation between Tanzania and Uganda was established in 2017. In recent years, mental health has become an increasingly important global conversation. However, experts say men are among the most affected, often facing emotional struggles in silence due to societal expectations that discourage them from speaking openly about their feelings. As cases of stress, depression, and even suicide continue to raise concern, there are growing calls to pay closer attention to men's mental well-being and encourage more open dialogue. Carly Malewa has more details.
Men are often expected to be strong, resilient, and silent in the face of hardship. From a young age, boys are told phrases like, "Be strong," "Men don't cry," or "Handle your problems like a man." While such expectations may appear to encourage strength, mental health experts warn that they can also create a culture where men feel pressured to hide their emotions, pain, and vulnerability. Today, this silent struggle is increasingly becoming a global concern. Mental health, defined as a person's emotional, psychological, and social well-being, affects how people think, feel, or cope with life's challenges. Yet, for many men, discussing mental health remains difficult. Around the world, studies show that men are less likely than women to seek professional help for emotional distress. Instead, many internalize their struggles, often turning to harmful coping mechanisms, such as alcohol abuse, social withdrawal, or even aggression. Over time, untreated stress, depression, and anxiety can take a devastating toll, not only to individuals, but also on families and communities. One of the most alarming consequences of this silence crisis is the rising number of suicides among men. Globally, men account for the majority of suicide deaths, even though women tend to report high rates of depression. Experts say this disparity may be linked to several factors, including societal expectations of masculinity, financial pressures, relationship challenges, and the stigma surrounding men seeking psychological support. In many cases, warning signs may go unnoticed because men often mask the emotional pain until it reaches a breaking point. In Tanzania and many other parts of the world, conversations around mental health are slowly gaining attention, but stigma still remains a major barrier. Mental health specialists emphasize that acknowledging emotional struggles should not be seen as a weakness, but rather as a step towards healing. Encouraging open dialogue, supportive communities, and accessible mental health services could play a crucial role in addressing this growing concern. As the world begins to speak more openly about mental well-being, experts say it is equally important to include men in this conversation and challenge long-standing stereotypes about masculinity. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
To discuss more on excess male mortality, I'm joined live in studio with Godriva Sindaigaya, who is a coach and therapist. Welcome, Godriva.
Thank you so much for having me.
Recently, there have been growing concerns about men's mental health. And are men becoming more prone to health challenges or even death or suicide compared to women? And what might be the cause of all this?
So, to begin with, I would say that we cannot say for sure that men are being more prone now as opposed to 5 or 10 years ago. However, there is an increase in challenges. If you see like the economic crisis, unemployment, loneliness is increasing, divorce rate is increasing, and these 4 are all factors that are one of the most risk factors when it comes to suicide among men. So that is one of the correlations you can see there. And as much as both women and men do experience mental health challenges, men are, unfortunately, they represent a higher rate when it comes to suicide. Therefore, they're at more risk than women are.
Okay, your research focuses on men's mental health, right?
Yes, true.
Why is it important to specifically look at men in this conversation when it comes to mental health?
When it comes to men, for me personally, I look at men and not just the objective, like men, the gender, but when I think of men, I think about my father, my brothers, my nephews, our friends, neighbors, to personalize it and then to go again and look at the statistics. So that's the first thing that really made me dive into the male suicide research. And secondly, if you look at the way society is created, yes, men have ruled the world and they have had a position of privilege over decades and centuries. And I think somewhere along the way, in the journey of, building equality and supporting women, maybe there was somewhere a gap where men kind of fell off the focus, right? For obvious reason, obviously. And then you have this other aspect of, are the current interventions and the current services applicable for men? Or are they more friendly towards women? Because men and women are different biologically, neurologically. Women, we tend to talk a lot. If we're going through issues, it's easier maybe to reach out to a friend. If you're going through a heartbreak, maybe you meet your girlfriends, your family, support. Nice. But because men are not grown or raised in that kind of environment, when they do face a challenge, there's a stigma, there's the social expectations, there's the taught behaviors, all of these factors that contribute to them now facing it, coming to a point where it's so much that they choose suicide.
Right there when it comes to stigma, men, we often hear phrases like, men are strong, men shouldn't show emotion, men don't cry. How do such phrases or beliefs affect the well-being of a man's mental health? Immensely,
sorry. Because when we look at a boy child,
yes,
and let's say, the typical, like, they fall down, like, no, just get up, you're a boy, you're a man, don't cry. We might say it in a way of trying to encourage the boy to not, to maybe be tough and build resilience, but resilience is not built on suppressing emotions. Because when you're telling somebody, don't cry, don't do this, don't do that, you are telling that person, you are teaching that person that their emotions are not important, their voice does not matter, their opinion does not matter, so therefore they don't even have the space to express themselves. But then later, and you see this, for example, in a lot of maybe relationship arguments when it comes to both platonic and romantic or familiar, where we often say, oh, men don't express themselves. But you already told the same man to not cry, to not speak up when they're, don't complain, don't do this. And then you expect that very same man to come to you and talk to you about an issue or communicate with you. How will then they do it if they were never taught how to or given the space of how to?
Okay, but are there warning signs that show that a man is struggling mentally? And especially, men don't openly reveal the emotions. So are they like specific warning signs that can show that a certain man is going through trouble mental-wise?
Absolutely. You can see the first thing is behavioral change. Let's say somebody was very outgoing, maybe now they're more isolated. Maybe the way they communicate and talk, maybe more aggression, more irritability, or more silence, right? You can also see it in the way of substance use, increase in alcohol intake, increase in other substance use, for example, or erratic behavior. For example, like putting themselves in situations that are dangerous, like, you know, driving super fast, not caring what happens to them. So there are certain signs, or even in conversations, somebody might not say exactly like, oh, I'm struggling or I'm having suicidal thoughts, but it can be something like, what if I just disappear for a while? Or I just wish I could just, I don't think anybody will miss me if I'm gone. Or actually a phrase that I heard today by a lady who was sharing a story with me, that somebody shared with her that they said that whenever they're in a tall building, they just feel the urge to jump, you know? And if you're not aware of those kind of signals for somebody, you might just overlook it. Yeah.
Okay, and lastly, why do many men struggle silently instead of seeking for help? You know, you'd be like, why can't you just say what's on your mind? Why can't you just say what you're going through? Why do you think men avoid speaking about their emotions and just suffer with it silently and silently and silently?
I think, you know, as I mentioned earlier, it goes back to the beginning, right? How we lay the foundation. Do we create the space for them to talk? Because if I grew up my whole childhood, teenage, and then up to my 20s, and I'm never allowed to wear jeans, for example, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you can wear jeans. I mean, something in me will feel like, not really. It can happen at some point, but it will take time. So I think everything from the foundations we lay in our homes, in our schools, in our societies, to try to build, you know, safe spaces. When I was doing my research, one thing that came up is it actually defies the myth that men do not seek help, is the fact that a lot of men feel like when they do seek help, they are either dismissed, or they are rejected, or they are made fun of. They're not believed, right? So I think to be able to create safe spaces for men, and this is something that also a lot of different men that I've spoken to over these past 2 years, it's creating space where they can feel safe. Because that's the one thing they need, to feel safe enough to share and open up and be heard.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, and on to the next news. The director of the National Public Health Laboratory, Mbele Mafulenge, says specialized training on the quality and certification of laboratory equipment will strengthen the capacity of laboratories across Eastern Africa to safely test samples linked to disease outbreaks. Here are more details.
Mafulenge made the remarks in Dar es Salaam while closing a 2-week training program for specialists in the certification of biological safety cabinets from 14 countries in the Eastern African region. He says strengthening technical expertise in managing laboratory safety equipment is essential for improving disease detection and protecting laboratory personnel who handle potentially infectious samples.
In Africa, at least most of the African countries, they have biomedical engineers, but not all are certified. Before, we used to have the engineers coming either from US, United States, or coming from South Africa. Then those were doing the certification across the country and across the Africa. But nowadays, we have engineers in country and of course in Africa. And to be proud of it, almost the engineers at the Eastern and Central Africa who are doing this certification, they got training here in Tanzania.
Facilitators of the program insist the training will help improve safety standards for healthcare workers and enhance working conditions in the laboratory facilities across the region.
The main reason why we were here was to learn in detail about the biosafety cabinet, which is an instrument that it's used by scientists in the laboratories, which helps to diagnose during research of different viruses and pathogens. So it's very much important that we share this knowledge. We get to impact knowledge and also spread the word on the biosafety and biosecurity.
Through this period, we've been able to have our trainers and facilitators from different countries within Africa who have been able to dissipate this information to us in a manner that helps us identify the gaps that are in our countries, and especially the ones that I've seen in my countries, having, less certifiers.
It's a good one. Actually, it's going to reduce costs because we have been doing NSF and it has been costly. But if it is like this, it will reduce cost on us and it will reduce everything that we have been paying for. For NSF, you pay each year for licensing around $300 every year. So this training will reduce on the cost.
The training focused on equipping participants with practical skills, installation, maintenance, and certification of biological safety cabinets, critical equipment used to prevent exposure to harmful pathogens in laboratories. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
The International Community of Muslim Traders in Tanzania, JIBA, calls on Muslim traders, particularly women, to take part in the upcoming Ramadan Souk trade exhibition to access market opportunities for their products, secure new markets, and establish business partnerships that can help strengthen the economic growth. Speaking in Dar es Salaam, JIBA chairperson Al-Junaid Hasham says the exhibition aims to connect traders with buyers while also providing an opportunity for members of the Muslim community to purchase various products ahead of the Eid celebrations.
The Ramadan Souk has been a catalyst for growth, specifically over the 4 years, where people have gone from home-based businesses to articulate in the business trade and looking forward to getting into international markets. Of course, Diamond Jubilee is a local market, and in a local market, this is the kind of first step. Although there are people that have come for the last 4 years and they have grown significantly in this, and now you can see the confidence level, the level of professionalism, what they bring to the table, not only with their goods, but also their packaging. And this shows in their sales volumes as well.
Meanwhile, the team lead of the exhibition says they are placing special emphasis on encouraging the participation of women entrepreneurs with the goal of empowering them and boosting their confidence to engage in business and expand into international markets.
We are pushing the ladies, as we just celebrated Women's Day. So we are pushing the ladies. By the way, the vendors, whoever the vendors are all ladies, women, young girls who have just started business. So we're encouraging them. Ramadan Souk is a platform to encourage the women to come up and do businesses within the community, within Tanzania.
So we have got people who cook from home, we've got bakery products, we've got perfumes, we've got oud, we've got ladies selling clothes, stitching clothes and selling them. So a lot of this you will see at the Ramadan Souk. You will also see some people who have started making their small baskets and this art, so many things, chocolates, home-based chocolates, desserts, foods, different type of varieties of things you'll get to see. So we are welcoming everybody to come and take part with this.
More than 200 traders are expected to participate in the Ramadan Souk exhibition, scheduled to take place on March 14th from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. at the Diamond Jubilee Hall in Dar es Salaam. Past Trust has signed a memorandum of understanding with Stanbic Bank Tanzania aimed at enabling farmers to access loans that will boost investment in the livestock and fisheries value chains. Here are more details. Speaking during the signing ceremony in Dar es Salaam, the Commercial Director of Past Trust, Adam Kamanda, says the partnership will allow farmers to access loans of up to 10 billion shillings for a single farmer, significantly increasing financing opportunities in the sector. Kamanda knows that the agreement is expected to strengthen agricultural financing and support expansion of livestock and fisheries-related businesses across the country.
will be issuing guarantees to facilitate agribusinesses into Tanzania, and this cuts across from entire agriculture, as well as machinery, as well as livestock and fisheries. So today in this ceremony, we are entering into a contract guarantee that will partner these two institutions to be able to reach the entire class in Tanzania into the value chains that are into agriculture, livestock, as well as fisheries.
Meanwhile, a representative from Stanbic Bank says in addition to the loan facilities, farmers will also benefit from financial literacy, training designed to help them manage risks that may arise in the sector.
For the longest time, we've struggled to support players in the agricultural value chain because of their lack of collateral or their lack of means to be able to access those funds. So we are entering into this partnership with Past Trust for them to help us de-risk the agricultural portfolio. And by us de-risking that portfolio, meaning we increase the appetite that we have to provide loans to the agricultural sector.
By 2026, Past Trust had already issued loan guarantees worth 2.61 trillion shillings, reflecting its growing role in improving farmers' access to finance in Tanzania. Before we wind up the local news tonight, let's now take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Sports news up next. Squads has been improved match by match, and hoping that the players will do the same against TRA United and win the Tanzania Premier League match that will be played at Sheikh Amri Abed Stadium in Arusha. Speaking ahead of the match, head coach Barker believes that players will focus on the match consistency as they face tough team TRA United, and the win will keep title race on, while TRA United head coach Etienne and Dayure Agije says he knows that Simba is a tough team to play, but they are ready for the match.
We're looking forward to the game. We've prepared well. It's important for us to continue building momentum. It's important for us to keep winning matches so that we can keep, in touch with the teams above us. It's a good opposition that we're up against. They've come off, 2 good league wins. So as all games, no game is easy. No opposition is easy. They're a good team, but we're determined to continue to keep improving, to keep growing, to keep, playing the way that we want to be playing. So tomorrow will be no different.
We are focusing on Simba Sports Club match because we want to get good results. We are well prepared. Players are ready to bring that challenge. We are very happy because this is a good gauge to our squad to play against good team like Simba. But we are ready.
That is the sports news. And now, before we conclude the news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at today's weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
My name is Godfrey Kazinja. I present to you 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. For tonight, we expect future particular conditions, thunder shower over a few areas over the entire country. For tomorrow, average wind speed expected over the most part of our country. And for tomorrow, strongest rainfall signal are over the coastal area. TMA issue an advisory expecting heavy precipitation times over northern Eastern Highland, southern coast, Dar es Salaam, Pwani, Mafia Island, to get through Vuma region. Please take note on that. For tomorrow, expect future cloud conditions, thunder shower over some area and sun interval over the most part of our country, except over the Lake Victoria Basin and the western part. Expect future cloudy conditions, thunder shower over few area and sun interval. Let's have a look for the 4 days weather forecast for some part of our country, starting from the day after tomorrow. Dar es Salaam expected future particular conditions, thunder shower over few areas and sun periods. Likewise, Dodoma expect future partly cloudy conditions, thunder shower over few areas and sun periods.